Hello YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching some of my narrated Wi-Fi battles. Um, Actually today I have I don't know if you guys participated in them at all, but the international challenge that was held last month, which is basically VGC 2013 rules. And I wanted to bring you guys my team. So the breakdown for this team is a Choice Banded Dragon Knight, an offensive Ninetales holding a Fire Gem for a really powerful Heat Wave, regular Life Orb Venusaur, support Cinccino, which will be really interesting to get into later, and Golurk. I sometimes run Hitmontop in there as well, but I chose Hitmontop so few of the times really that I just didn't really put it on the team preview there because I didn't use it that much. But anyways, though, this first matchup was one that illustrates this team really, really well. Start out with Dragonite and Cinccino. Cinccino can essentially support everyone on the team. Dragonite is kind of just there as a check to the things that would normally try to kill off Dragonite, like Weavile, even sometimes Mamoswine, or in this case you'll see Thundurus. Because a Choice Banded helping hand boosted extreme speed is enough to KO most of the, even sometimes the bulkier counters to Dragonite. Here I wasn't really worried about Melodic having Ice Beam just because I knew my multi-scale would keep me in the match, allowing me to possibly extreme speed something else if I wanted to. Of course, with Choice Band, I'm locked into it. And then, if for some reason my opponents are slower than me, Cinccino is actually a lot faster than a lot of Pokemon. So Cinccino can use After You on its partner, whether it be Dragonite or Golurk, to allow it to move next, because normally I'll be able to outspeed. Right there, yet again, you see another instance where I'm able to decimate normally what would be Dragonite's counter, Weavile. He doesn't really get a chance to Ice Shard me. This Cinccino has max HP investment, so a Night Slash without a boost is not going to be able to KO me. And at this point, I have a lot of initiative on my side of the field. Dragonite does go down, but that's not that big of a deal. I am predicting him to go for Ice Beam, excuse me, Ice Beam, or Surf, I guess. He probably won't use the Water attack now that I brought in Ninetales. But I was expecting him to attack my Cinccino because he realizes that it's supporting my team. With that being said, I can now go for a Fire Gem, Drought Boosted Stab Heat Wave, which, even when Ninetales' kind of paltry special attack stat, does a lot of damage. So that is going to be able to take out the Weavile and kind of modestly injure the Melodic. That does about maybe a fifth. It doesn't do that much at all, but the point of using that was to hit the Weavile, which was a little bit more threatening. He goes for Hydro Pump. I know from experience that would not have KO'd just because I have a decent amount of HP investment. I have max speed, HP, and then a little bit of special attack. And then here, Cinccino's only offensive move, which I normally keep hidden, is Bullet Seed. I use it to hit Politoed, Gastrodon, in this case Melodic. Normally I'm able to outspeed and hit a lot of water types with it, especially things like Gastrodon. It's not Skill Link, it's Technician, because I bred this a while ago. I just haven't had a chance to use it until now. But, you know, it works out pretty well, especially if you keep it hidden. I have toyed with the idea of giving it Tail Slap as well, but the utility of After You and Helping Hand, and the need to carry Protect alongside the Focus Sash, normally Bullet Seed is a little bit better coverage, because then that means I don't have to rely on Venusaur to have the Sun Up to KO things. And then, of course, Venusaur actually just has Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, Growth, and Sleep Powder. I really wish I could get one of these things with Hidden Power Fire, because there are just so many opportunities for me to use it. I might try using a Victory Bell next time just so I can use Weather Ball, but of course Victory Bell is a little slower. So that was a great match. My opponent played pretty well there. He has some unconventional stuff. This next match is much more, I guess, standard for what you'll see. You see he has an Escavalier there in the team preview, and that, when I think he had also a Metagross in the team preview that he didn't end up using, but it made me, I kind of assumed he was going to have Trick Room, just because all the Pokemon that he had could kind of work decently well with Trick Room. Unfortunately for me, one of the counters to starting off with Cinccino and Dragonite, and also Cinccino and Golurk, is that Intimidate kind of shuts down my attacking strength. For that reason, I have considered running Cinccino with Metagross instead, just so that Intimidate doesn't really lower his potential. But Extreme Speed is just so powerful. It's so nice to have. Anyways, though, here I expected maybe a Fake Out, And I admit that he's actually gonna, I think he switches out next turn, and I actually end up forgetting that he has Hitmontop later on. But I did predict the fake out properly, and I didn't want my Dragonite to have his HP lowered, and I think he predicted me to switch out there because he didn't target Dragonite at all, so he must not have been worried about it. And Chandelure is a big problem for this team as well if I don't bring Golurk, because with Golurk I can of course use After You with Cinccino to outspeed the Chandelure and have Golurk go first. And then if my Focus Sash is intact and they're both weak to Earthquake, I can even do that. Here I opted to go for Solar Beam because I didn't feel like giving the Chandelure a Flash Fire boost just yet, and I wasn't really threatened by it. But that does such paltry damage to the Cresselia. It's just like, I really needed that to do more damage. And I think even later on when I use Helping Hand with the Solar Beam, it still doesn't do that much damage. So Solar Beam's only real utility is to hit things like Gastrodon. So I may need to switch that into something else. I don't know, Dark Pulse wouldn't hit Cresselia hard enough. Maybe just another utility move like Will-O-Wisp would be nice. Because Hypnosis, actually, when I use it, since I barely ever use it, I feel like when I do rely on it, sometimes it works. Because I probably use Hypnosis 1 out of, I had about 20 matches, and my final score was 1503, I think. So I kind of broke even, basically, but I only used Hypnosis maybe in 3 matches. So there, he's unfortunately able to take out my Cinccino with the Ice Beam, but I didn't really know what else to do. With his Chandelure asleep, of course, I figured now if I'm going to go for my Fire Gem boosted Heat Wave to try to put this Cresselia at half health so that maybe Dragonite can deal with it, now's the time to do it. Because I really did not want him putting up the Trick Room, and I felt like it was coming. Because everything that I have is pretty speedy. Except for Golurk, whom I did not bring to this match. Unfortunately for me, he has Citrus Berry, which is a very common item on Cresselia. But I do know I can hopefully outspeed here, and he actually takes the opportunity to go out into, I believe he switches into Hitmontop. Yeah, he switches into Hitmontop, but here I was just kind of hoping that my Outrage would hit the Chandelure because I was giving that thing Flash Fire boost, and it was a little bit more threatening. And of course with the Choice Band, I'm still going to be able to finish it off with an Outrage. The only bad thing is that when I used Outrage, I actually forgot that he had Hitmontop, which means he can fake me out with Hitmontop to stop my Outrage, and then hit me with an Ice Beam. And I'm not going to lie, I did kind of forget about that. And then right here, I don't know why I used Solar Beam. If I use Heat Wave, I actually maybe would have been in a better position when he brings in his Cresselia again. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to say. I think I would have, though. But here you do see the combination that I was just talking about. He has the fake out my Dragonite. It barely does any damage, but it's enough to break my multi-scale. And he's able to Ice Beam me to finish me off. So I'm thinking he has just enough special attack investment to one-hit KO an offensive Dragonite. Especially since he's using Ice Beam over Icy Wind. When you see how much damage Heat Wave does here when it's not split between 2 Pokemon, I get a critical hit on the Cresselia. I don't think it mattered that much. I think 2 Heat Waves would have maybe able to take out the Hitmontop, which is important because right here Cresselia is able to use Helping Hand to help the Hitmontop kill my Ninetales. So that is huge because now it's Venusaur versus 3 Pokemon. Which of course Venusaur this turn is going to be able to hit one of those 2 with a Solar Beam. I actually opted to go for Hitmontop. Because I figured I'd actually outspeed it. I wasn't expecting Hitmontop to outspeed like it did. But you know, that happens sometimes. He made a really good play there when he took out my Dragonite. So fortunately now the Hitmontop is out of my hair. And the Twisted Dimensions finally returned back to normal. So now I'm expecting the Trick Room again. And even though I counted all those Trick Room turns, it doesn't really matter. Here I did predict him to go for Protect with it, Escavalier, because then he could set up the Trick Room and make sure he had a safe victory. So I just went ahead and took out the Cresselia. It's kind of a small moral victory because this Cresselia was kind of a pain in my butt the whole match. Golurk is really my counter to Cresselia, but I don't necessarily often see it when people see the Pokemon that I have. And I put the Escavalier to sleep, and I needed it to stay asleep, I think, 3 turns in a row in order to win this, and so he's asleep for 1 turn here, just because I outsped to put him asleep. We get to see how much a Life Orb Solar Beam does from a modest Venusaur. It doesn't have max special attack, but it has a decent special attack. and it does about a quarter, and that's just not going to cut it because that was a crit. So that means if I growth and I raise my special attack first, that's how much it would do each time. Meanwhile, he gets to use a Bug Gym boosted Mega Horn, and unfortunately Venusaur is not going to be able to take that, so I actually ended up losing that one 0-1, but that was a really fun match. So I hope you guys enjoyed the team. I'm going to have a few more ICL matches, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.